And welcome. My name is Carlos Berdes, and in this video we're talking about rewards in tabletop RPGs because, well, when playing tabletop RPGs, people usually expect rewards to be something intrinsic to them. Because most of the games, the popular ones, they have some kind of reward. But what we consider to be a reward and what we expect this reward to reward, it can vary a lot. When we think about reward, the idea that comes to mind, at least for me, is kind of a prize for an action. And doing nothing can be considered as an action in some contexts. And thus, they can shape how players will behave. This just seems logical, right? Because if you know that something will be rewarded, you probably will have a better or a higher chance to perform that thing. Right? But focus on the can shape, because we are going to talk about how rewards can differ among them. And the first thing is we will focus on the quite common and more easily recognizable explicit reward, because they are the ones that are specifically mentioned and the players will be aware that they exist, what they are, and, at least to some extent, what they need to perform in order to be granted them, like experience points, a promised payment for an adventure or mission, and etc. And if you have this kind of explicit rewards where you are well aware of them, it bears the burden that we will also have implicit ones. And due to their nature, they can in a way be hidden from the PCs. Sometimes their presence is hidden completely. The PCs are even unaware that some reward is on the table, but sometimes they are just unclear. If we have, for instance, a game that tracks NPCs' stance towards the PCs, yeah, the players might know and be aware that the mechanics exist, but be aware of if and how it is being affected by their actions, and which actions will prompt differences in by how much, or even some implicit one tied to asking the right questions to an NPC and so on. Then you do not even know that perhaps this reward is on the table. You can surely think of some other examples, but just to be perfectly clear, there are not cut and dry distinctions. There are some in between, like milestone advancement. I would say that players know that they will level up, and at some point they probably also know that milestone advancement is the way that they are doing it. But more often than not, they are unaware of what exactly and which point they will need to reach in order to level up. Another difference is between rewards that some are in-game ones, which I mention as being internal for the purposes of this video. And internal rewards are the ones that are most closely related or even completely connected to the game itself in the way of the in-game history and what is being developed in-game. Because they are like the treasures and items and creating a bond with NPCs, monsters, animals, etc., finding some important information. I could go on and on. They are the rewards that are in-game, they are closely related to it, they are connected to what is happening and what is being shaped on in-game. And even if some people strongly believe and feel that all rewards have and need to have an internal aspect to them, we have some that are definitely not internal rewards. Some have in-game justifications, like being awarded advantage. Usually, they have justification in-game. But it's clearly what could be called a meta reward. But in order to stay with the internal, I will go with the word external. And external one are the rewards given outside of the in-game world, like experience points. Level ups in general are external rewards, granting inspiration or any kind of token that can later be exchanged by some mechanical gain. I would also say that fall in this category of external rewards, because although they will impact the in-game world, they are things that are given outside of the in-game world. so they are external to the in-game world. With these distinctions, I want to leave it perfectly clear that I believe the categories are not cut and dry, and they are on a spectrum, and they are even much more on the spectrum than the limited boxes. And we can easily see that we can have some crosses and some combinations. For instance, I'd say that Milestone, they are external rewards and implicit ones, because they are at first determined by something not absolutely clear for most of the players, namely when they will get this level up. They know that it will happen, but they do not know when. And at first it provides benefit outside of the in-game world. Yeah, they can in some instances have justifications of why the level up happens and how it changes their player characters in some systems and games, but that's not a rule. That's why I think of them as external ones. And yeah, leveling up is a completely other can of worms, and it has some benefits and drawbacks, and they extend much more than this discussion of rewards per se. They are one way to giving rewards, but they are much more than that, and in a way to divide how the game is played and so on. And we then reach the thing that we raised in the beginning: rewards as an incentive. And so we get to this point of it can shape how PCs act, because we were rewarding some things. If rewards are explicit, PCs might want to adapt their actions in order to maximize the return, to maximize the reward. It might happen to internal ones. Don't think that it can't. But to external ones, it's more easily linked to it. Like, if the only way to give experience points is by killing monsters, you might assume and expect that players will choose to their characters to try and kill the more monsters they can. If instead you gain experience points for gold, you can expect players to try to get as much gold as possible in order to get more of this reward. And then it in kind of way is just like double reward, but it also opens this other thing that some players who might enjoy subverting expectations and subverting the stereotypes. It's not a given then that players will try to optimize play. Sometimes, and very frequently, some meaningful moments are precisely when PCs do not act as predicted or intended or expected. I believe that a game benefits from using the different kind of rewards in general, like mixing them, because implicit rewards can be tricky as your players are let in the dark about them. But as I mentioned, milestone experiences, for me it's considered as internal, and it still seems to be one of the most popular ways to level up and to advance. So what I might know. So try to mix them. As I said, mixing different kind of adventures is something that is important. So think about it. What I want you to take from this video is that rewards, they are not a monolithic thing. You have some very different ways, and yeah, they can shape. And if they can shape, it's important that you think how you are incentivizing some behaviors with the rewards that you are presenting. This is something to always keep in mind, whether you are game designing or you are just GMing, narrating, etc. Let me know what you think. If you agree with me or if you disagree, let me know. It is important. I linked my Ko-fi and my itch.io page. Check it out. I just put a new adventure for Mork Borg in my itch.io page. And I believe that's it for the video. If you like the video, like the video, share, subscribe. You know how internet works. Think about the rewards. What you are trying to pass to your players as rewards is just one more tool, and it's just a empty and hollow way of using it if you do not think deeper in how you implement it. And I believe that's it. I will see you all in my next video. So see ya!